Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome around the globe to Kangen Water Radio, featuring the Kangen Water Health and Information International Call, where we consider, clarify, and often correct the conventional wisdom around Kangen water technology, the different machines, the science behind water types, uses, and benefits, the testing process, the maintenance and cleaning of the machines, and much, much more. We also explore a plethora of other topics as we teach, promote, and discuss the three-pronged approach to health and wellness: hydration, detoxification, and complete macro and micro nutrition. I'm family physician Dr. Lisa Battle Singletary, your virtual keto coach, and I'll be joined by my co-host and fearless leader, Mr. Terrence Hope, a Magic 6A distributor extraordinaire, and together we bring you the best of both worlds. All right, this is call number 423. I can hardly believe that. And we're talking today about, well, we're addressing the question, is all of this stress getting to me? Now, how could this stress be getting to me, quote unquote? It could be physically, right? Because we've talked so many times about the effects of chronic stress on the body. It could be emotionally. I don't think I need to say a whole lot more about that. But today, we're going to address mental health and mental, like what is this, what the effect of all this stress doing to us mentally? And notice there's a difference between mental health and emotional health. So we're stressing the mental a little bit today. And before we go 1 second further, I feel a disclaimer coming on. I feel the need. I hope you all feel disclaimed. After this, we are not doing an exhaustive review of all mental disorders. We are not doing an exhaustive review of the effects of stress on the brain, on the mind, on the emotions, or on the body. We are not making any claims to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent mental illnesses. But what are we doing? We are talking about how maybe we can draw some correlations. Maybe we can give you some tips, some tricks, some warning signs, some strategies. That's what I like, strategies. That we can give you some strategies to maybe help deal with this question. Is all this stress getting to me? Now, I will tell you one thing that may comfort you. It comforted me. In general, if you can ask the question, then you've got hope, right? Things are if you can ask yourself the question, is this really getting, is all this stress getting to me? Am I having some kind of mental reaction to the stress? If somebody asks you that and your response is, of course I'm okay. They're like, are you okay with, anything? Nothing, of course I'm okay. There might be a problem. But, and I say that, and I hope everyone's disclaimed. Are you all disclaimed? Okay. So I want to talk about stress in kind of the terms that we talked about addiction. There are two main questions that factor into this: how much and how long. So, we can deal with a lot of stress for a short period of time. We can deal with a little bit of stress on a chronic basis, but a lot of stress chronically, then we're looking at trouble down the road, whether it is physical, mental, emotional, etc. So this really made me reflect back to my medical school days, because we spent a lot of time studying mental illness. And it was really interesting to sit in these lectures, 3 times a week for 2 to 4 hours. And every disorder that they brought up, and they gave you the symptoms, like, what people with this disorder have or do, or the behaviors they display. And, I'm sitting in my seat thinking, that sounds a lot like me. Do I have that? And so there was this gray area where maybe the DSM helped us to quantify, okay, if you have 5 of these symptoms, for any particular disorder, you don't qualify. But if you have 7 or 10 or, whatever number, okay, then you fit this diagnosis. And thankfully, I was always under that threshold, but there was this gray area sometimes, and usually it was around exam time. It got worse, right? So so that just made me think, what does stress do as far as amplifying our mental health symptoms? And when we are not quite mentally ill, but maybe we're mentally ill adjacent, right? How do we think about that? How do we deal with that? So I've got some, I think, really good articles for you today to help you with that. Just as one example of something that they, one of the lectures I sat through in medical school was about bipolar disorder, right? And that's when you're up and down. And of course, sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. And so when you're hearing the symptoms and writing them down, and I think, okay, am I bipolar? But then after that, they said, well, there's another level down called hypomania. I'm like, okay. And they're giving us the symptoms, and they're exactly the same symptoms of hypomania for bipolar disorder, but to a lesser degree. So I said, okay, so and that's when I realized that they were really teaching us the extremes of the spectrum of mental health. And there's this gray area that we really weren't taught how to define. So I just want to share a few things with you, because we've been through a particularly distressing almost 2 years now, globally. And we might find that there's some things that bother us now that didn't bother us before, or we have reactions that we didn't have before. So let's just dive in a little bit. So let's see if I can share my screen. So I'm going to start off with this Healthline article, Mental Health Basics, Types of Mental Illness, Diagnosis, Treatment, and More. Again, and like I said, this is an pre-C article. This was written in 2018. So this is more of a baseline of information about mental health. And, what is it? What is mental health versus what is mental illness? It gives you some statistics. Mental health disorders, bipolar disorder, that was the first one I mentioned, depression, we've talked about on the show multiple times. GAD, generalized anxiety disorder. So multiple disorders they define for us. And then they get a little practical. Coping with mental illness, what are some of the symptoms? How do you get diagnosis? Some treatments, of course, medication heavy, but there are some discussions of lifestyle treatments, therapy, and lots of things that may be helpful. So I want you to have this article, and it will be in the show notes. And like I said, this is a baseline. And I want to share another baseline article. This was from Mental Health America, which is an advocacy network. I've never done any work with them. I don't really know them, but I like the way they summarized this little subject, this little topic of stress. So they do talk about the physical and mental effects of stress in a very concise way. The warning signs, tips for reducing or controlling stress, treatments, and they've got a partner network. So they're probably going to try to sell you stuff. But the thing that I liked about this, not only were these little blurbs chunked very nicely and concise, they do address that the difference between physical effects and mental effects, but also in the warning signs, they have this little tool called the stress screener. And I like a tool. I like a good tool. And so if you click on stress screener, hopefully you can still see this. It's a series of 16 questions. And the first question is, do you find yourself eating emotionally, eating unhealthy foods, eating when you're not hungry as a response to stress or difficult feelings? Now, I did not go through this screener, so I don't know the end result of it, but I like the fact that there is a screener. So this, again, this article was, let's see, where's the date? I don't know where the date is there, but somehow I determined that this was pre-C, there was absolutely no mention of the events of 2019, 2020, and now 2021. However, the same group, Mental Health America, has an update for 2021. This was published in March, called Mind the Workplace. And they made a report about stress in the workplace. And you can download it if you like to see the whole report, but, and I'll put the link to this page in the show notes. But they had 4 major takeaways that they just put right here. Number 1, most employees are experiencing signs of burnout. Number 2, employees are not receiving the support they need to manage stress. Number 3, workplace stress is severely impacting employees' mental health. And number 4, employees are concerned about their current financial situations. I can understand it. I'm so thankful that I get to be here with you, my family, my community, and we can help to support each other, and that I don't have to go in to the system on a daily basis and deal with the stress there, because I had seasons of burnout even, before all of this worldwide stress happened. So um, again, Mental Health America, thank you for making this report available. Again, I have not downloaded the report myself, so I don't know if they're trying to sell you anything, get you to join their network or anything like that. But I do think if you want more information, I think they have some valuable statistical information there. So one thing that I want you to want to share with you is this. And I went to pubmed.gov and I searched, what did I search? Stress, mental health, I think. I just kept it simple. And then I did a separate search for a stress mental health review. Maybe this, yeah. So pubmed.gov, the National Institute of Mental Health gives us 5 things you should know about stress. Number 1, stress affects everyone. So sometimes when you're dealing with someone and you just can't figure out why they said something or why they reacted, or you can figure out about yourself why you said something or reacted a certain way, it could definitely be stress. Number 2, not all stress is bad. There's good stress. And there are stress warnings, right? But they're not supposed to last. They're supposed to warn you in dangerous situations so that you can change your location or your situation, etc. Number 3, long-term, key. Long-term stress can harm your health. That's mental health, physical health, emotional health, all the healths, right? Number 4, there are ways to manage stress. Be observant, recognize the signs. So, sometimes you just have to take a step back and think, why did I say that? Or why did that bother me? That never bothers me, or, so be observant and about yourself or about the other person, right? Talk to a healthcare provider or health professional, get regular exercise, try relaxing activity, set goals and priorities, stay connected, and consider a clinical trial. Well, not high on my list, but this is the National Institute of Mental Health, right? If you're overwhelmed, you may need professional help. You may be looking at some kind of imbalance, and that imbalance may be addressed medically, but it may be addressed by things that you can add, alternative things, natural things, or things that you have to take away. And one of those things that you can take away is sugar. So I did a search on pubmed.gov called Sugar and Mental Health Review, and I got gobs of articles about sugar and mental health. Sometimes the research was directly tied to a specific disease. Sometimes the research was just in general about mental health. But this is one of the titles of a research article that was done in 2019. So that's still pre worldwide events, but the impact of sugar consumption on stress-driven, emotional, and addictive behaviors. And they looked at over 300 studies linking the overconsumption of high fat and high sugar containing foods and beverages. And what happens, here's a word, neuroplasticity, that really caught my eye. What does that mean? Your nerves change their actual structure as a result of long-term sugar consumption. And it creates a vicious cycle because that neuroplasticity has been shown to reduce impulse control, therefore lowering your ability to resist those high fat and high sugar foods that got you into this trouble anyway, in the first place. So there's this vicious cycle that gets set up. And so if you can break the cycle, then you can really do a lot for your health. Now, here's another article. Sugar intake from sweet food and beverages, common mental disorder and depression, prospective findings from the Whitehall 2 study. Now, this was an international study, but definitely there were things that, or this documentation basically. For instance, here it says, our research confirms an adverse effect of sugar intake from sweet foods and beverages, or from sweet food and beverages on long-term psychological health, and suggests that lower intake of sugar may be associated with better psychological health. That's just one thing, okay? And I've got other articles for you too. 6 no-nonsense self-care strategies that don't cost a thing. 11 strategies to help you reset after you do burnout. So lots of information available on the web that I will put in our show notes, so that when you go back and look at this, either you go back and look at this video, or you just want to dig into the notes, they'll be there for you. So you can see about self-care. I love, I love this one. Revise your kitchen flow, right? Your shopping list, having too much stuff in the kitchen, drives me crazy. Clutter. Now, I'm a clutter bug. Gotta admit it. I'm a gadget girl, right? And I don't have the proper storage for all of my gadgets. And I'm an out of sight, out of mind kind of girl. So I like looking at my gadgets. So, a neat Nick would not feel comfortable in my kitchen. But when I do kind of find a good place for this or that, like my cousin came over and helped move my air fryer because I don't use it. And he's like, this is taking up prime counter real estate. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So he put it on the shelf in the corner, and I felt better. So yeah, your kitchen, maybe you want your kitchen to be the first thing you tackle. I keep a shopping list now on my phone, and it really helps me. I was surprised at how much it helps me, but I surprised myself a couple times before I started using it, how I would have my list all set in the car. And as soon as I walk into the store, it's like, oh, shopping, and I forget my list, right? Decluttering, I'm working on that. Organizing your workspace, getting tasks out of the way that you really don't want to do, or you have to do, you've been putting them off. I'm a procrastinator, but it really helps me when I fight it. Streamlining your morning routine, your night routine, and you got to know how to rest. Rest is so important. So none of those things cost you anything, right? In fact, they'll save you money. If you do that shopping list thing, I've saved a lot of money by, okay, walk in the store, all right, get out my phone, look at the list, all right, I need that, cross it off as I get it, and when I'm done with that, it's, oh, all right, we're done, and get out of the store. All right, so some hopefully helpful information for you about stress and mental health. And we're going to help to decrease the stress on this call right now by bringing in our fearless leader, an Addict 6A distributor extraordinaire, Mr. Terrence Hope. Mr. Hope, are you with us?
With all the bells and whistles and plenty of noise to back me up, yes, I am. And maybe a little video clip. I know I'm maybe a little bit washed out in my image today, Dr. Singletary, but trying to do the best I can with the lighting I'm working with today. So glad to be here and glad to hear your commentary today about stress. Thank you all for joining us here on the Kangen Water Health and Information Call. We, of course, are here every Wednesday and Saturday at this point, here to bring you information about health regarding using the Kangen water machines, understanding your body better, and getting to all those things that provide you what we call our three-prong approach regarding hydration, nutrition, and detoxification for best health. And, Dr. Singletary, we're very, as well as I always say, honored and fortunate to have you here on the call with us, providing a medical understanding about the different aspects of the body, the functions of the organs, the mechanisms of disease, nutrition that can help and be applied to keeping ourselves, in proper fitness. And very rarely does a health call regarding nutrition have the opportunity as well to have a board certified physician as yourself on board, providing, these details that we wouldn't get otherwise going to the doctor. When I go to the doctor, they say, open your mouth, look in your eye, put a light in your ear, breathe, take a breath, okay, how you feeling today? And a prescription, but they don't go over the details of nutrition. So I'm very glad that you're here with us. And very happy to be partnered with you in our endeavor for best health for all.
You're muted.
I'm glad you went over this topic today because the subject matter comes across very often. We talk about the mechanisms of disease. We talk about diabetes, high blood pressure, kidney failure, cancer patients. We talk about many of these things. But oftentimes, what people are not as much aware of is there's a relationship between that and your mental health sometimes. If there's a dysfunction in an organ, we have to also remember that the brain is an organ, right? And the brain can become dysfunctional. If you're diabetic and you're not processing glucose properly, how does that affect the brain? If you're a kidney failure patient and your body is not eliminating toxicity, how does that affect the brain? If you are a cancer patient, have been deluged with chemotherapy and radiation and so many other forms of toxic approaches to perhaps your improvement of health, how does that affect your brain? And in my experience, I have seen many cases where I see people get great recoveries in their health. Issues that have plagued them for many years have gone away. But sometimes their characteristics, their mannerisms, something's not quite right there. They might act out in one way or another. They might be rude to people overtly, mean to people overtly. And otherwise maybe what may be known as genteel people. And sometimes you have to sit back and say, well, gee, why the things are going so pleasantly? Their health is so good. Their friends are supporting them. Everything is great. Why are they snapping at people? Why are they acting out? We have to understand that there's another aspect to it. So if the body is going through some sort of dysfunction, yeah, it can as well affect the mind. And as you bring up today, Dr. Singletary, our mental health going through stresses, as the title says, is all this stress getting to me? We have to, it's good to be conscious that stress in your body can cause stress on your mind.
Mm.
And
Absolutely.
for those who have gone through, and for those who have gone through health crises, it's good to be conscious that, take a toll, a little note of your character, see how you're acting or reacting to people, consider, your own behavior. And is there something that you can be aware of to maybe see if you can reel in? But at the same time, we could take our time to even as people who are trying to care for people, and maybe consider what we can do to detox the body better. And as Dr. Singletary talks about, the issue of stress today, what things we might be able to do to take the reins and try to be try to take action to get relaxation, try to take action, maybe to take vacations, try to take action to go to do things that are pleasant and relaxing, recognizing that stress on the body can stress the mind, and maybe in finding different ways to calm the mind, you can bring all things back in order. So we are both healing the mind and the body. Yeah. And that there's multiple works to be done. Yeah. So I'll share briefly, and then Dr. Singletary, I'll let you get back to taking some questions, because I'm sure many people have questions about mental health, their own peace of mind, how they are handling issues that come up in their lives, and things to consider. So we're here to talk about the Kangen water machines, and as we always say, the motto is change your water, change your life. Yeah. That is the motto of the Kangen Water Company, Enagic. So we want to have a better life and better peace of mind. What is Kangen water? Kangen water is an electrolyzed reduced water. It's produced in a process known as electrolysis. And electrolysis is a process where electricity comes in contact with water. This is an example of one of our Kangen water machines, known as the SD501. Our units produce 7 different types of water for hydration, detoxification, for killing of bacteria on the skin, for skin healing and improvement, for detoxification of foods. You can actually remove pesticides with our strong Kangen water by soaking your fruits and vegetables or different foods in the water. Strong acid water for sterilizing surfaces. So multiple purposes, great uses. This is our Kangen 8 machine. This is the newest top of the line unit we have, called the K8. This is once again the SD501. This is our platinum SD501, same as the original SD501 you saw a moment ago. The only thing difference is the exterior. Both of them have 7 plates on the electrical circuit. The Kangen 8 has 8 plates on the electrical circuit, more plates, stronger antioxidant effect. Yeah. So lightning is an example of electricity. Electricity hits water and creates a restructuring of the molecules of the water that produce an antioxidant effect. H2O, of course, is our water. Here's lightning hitting that water and or electricity, and you're getting a breakdown of the H2O molecule into its elements, OH negative and H plus. Here's a nice little diagram showing the flow of what's going on. You have water being hit by electricity, breaking down into its elements, and then restructuring with antioxidant ions within the water. We use this OH negative molecule as a measuring tool of the strength of its antioxidant effect. OH negative molecule happens to be an alkaline molecule, and it is really used as a bit of a litmus test almost of the overall volume of antioxidant ions in water at a time. So we're not alkalizing you, we're detoxing you with Kangen water. The greater the volume of antioxidant ions in the water, the stronger the detox, the better your body is able to maintain its own internal pH in all the organs. This is an example of electrolysis, a flow of electricity in water. And there are many benefits to being able to detox your body properly. Your body is mostly water, so the kind of water you have in your body will and can dictate the health of your body. In our case, we have an antioxidant water that will detox your body. Also has energizing ions that your body can convert to ATP. So your body is both energized, hydrated, and detoxed. And in that environment, your body can stay better at pH balance. Here's just a flow chart of understanding your body's internal systems, that you've got different pH levels, both acidic and alkaline. And the body has to maintain all of those pH levels to be healthy. Some of your organs are acidic and must stay so to be healthy. Some of them are alkaline and must stay so to be healthy. You don't eat alkaline foods or drink alkaline beverages to keep the body alkaline in order for the alkaline organs to stay in their pH range. Your body is self-regulating in the pH of all the organs. So you can eat any kind of organic foods, and that energy will be taken by the body to maintain the pH balance. The stomach is acidic. The large and small intestines are acidic. The heart and bloodstream can range in the alkaline pH. So there are different pH ranges for different parts of the body. Never let anybody tell you that the body is alkaline. Drink alkaline water, be alkaline, you'll be healthy. As you see here, your body is not entirely alkaline. It has acidic chambers too, and you don't want to make your body alkaline. Kangen water does not alkalize you. Kangen water detoxes you. So your body, being self-regulating, can better keep itself at pH balance. Yes? Yes. So just a few tidbits for you to see today. Be careful of the alkaline mineral water in the store. That is not a detoxing water. It's only mimicking the pH name used in describing Kangen water, known as a healthy detoxing water and a healthy water. You cannot detox with mineralized water. Essentia is an alkaline water with minerals. It is not an electrolyzed, electrically processed water, and it cannot help you with your health. So beware of deceptive marketing, talking about alkalinity. It is inaccurate. And what is accurate is the body's self-healing, remove toxicity, your body maintains its own pH. Be careful also in drinking this kind of water. You should stay away from it entirely, because it's heavy mineral content, which can sometimes be acidic, synthetic, can cause your body to become too alkaline, both in the acidic organs that have and the alkaline organs. You can become calcium buildup in these types of things. So be careful out there. You're not looking for alkaline water with minerals. You're looking for an electrolyzed reduced water, known as Kangen. The body's self-healing from the surface of the skin to the depths of the bones. Detox the body, and it's better able to maintain its proper healing and pH balance. So just a little brief summary. I'm going to hand the call back to Dr. Singletary, and we'll take questions from the community at large. Thank you all for coming to our call today. We're so excited to see so many people visiting us here on the Kangen Water Health Information Call here on Kangen Water Radio.
Thank you, Mr. Hope. And we do have a hand. So if you do have questions or comments, you can type them into the chat. Let me open up my chat so I can see them. And you can also raise your hand either through the Zoom, or if we can see you on screen, you can give us a wave. But Juanita has raised her hand through the Zoom. So Juanita.
Wow, this
Good
is a
morning.
whole different vision. Good morning. Can you hear me, Dr. Lisa?
Perfectly.
Perfect. Wow. So I'm getting used to this new technology because my laptop hasn't reappeared yet. And I've got my little notebook here. And I'm going to start with Mr. Hope because I've got quite a few questions for Dr. Lisa. Hi, Brian. That's my neighbor going by honking his little horn on his bike. He's part of the president of the neighborhood watch. We're going to make him president. But Mr. Hope, you said at the very end, Trinity at large. Please explain what that means.
I think he said community at large.
Community.
It's all
Okay.
for you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
This is
He said we
David.
were,
You met Doc David.
yep,
Remember?
hey,
He wrote that book. Remember? Have you read any of it yet?
not yet.
Okay. Okay. You will.
Eventually, everybody will.
Okay, Dr. Lisa, at the beginning, before I do that, I'm just going to give a couple announcements. I want to invite anyone who'd like to join us on the Bible Challenge. We're still doing that at noon Pacific Standard Time. We're on day 260-ish, maybe. There's Adrian. Oh, he just says Buenos dias, señorita. Okay, and then to our little church, which I got baptized, me and the gentleman across the street and David went to a family fun day, and I got baptized for the first time as an adult. And I understand not only the spiritual significance, but the physical significance. I swear to you, Dr. Lisa, when I got out of that pool, and instead of going backwards like everybody does, because I said, I asked the two pastors that were holding me, and I was freezing cold. I mean, I almost had an accident because the water was so in a pool. And I just said, from the warmth of their hands and said, why do you dunk people backwards? And he said, that's just what we've always done. And I said, well, I'm a bit dyslexic and I don't want water at my nose. And I didn't really come prepared to do this, but I knew that I don't have a change of clothes or nothing. But I know in my heart I need to do this right now because you don't do it again until the winter. And I'm not going to that Columbia River. So I'm going to do it now with this new neighbor who has severe mental illness. So we're talking about this subject right now. And I use the word severe because maybe and I'm looking at him and David, they're right across the street over there. I don't look at it as mental illness so much as Samuel has 120 stitches on the back of his head, I guess. And he has been in prison. And we took his mother, 77-year-old mother, to church the following day, and she hadn't been to church in 20 years. And I know, Vernita, you're on this call. I see your name. And I thank you so much, Vernita, for reminding me and Dr. Lisa. You know, it's not so much what we put into our mouth that causes stress. I'm living in this situation, as you all know, a boarding house. And people have come and gone, and alcoholics and aggressive landlords. And on Monday, my landlord trespassed and came and threatened the life of Samuel for being here helping me. So keep that in your prayers. We're pressing charges, but it's going to take a process. But in the meantime, the other is on Saturday, September 11th, is our National Day of Prayer. And we in a community of our church isn't going to be active in it, but the members are going, should they choose, down here at our Memorial Park, where the Apple Blossom Festival every year has stands of foods and things. We're going to meet there and pray as a community. And from my understanding, there's, churches sign up and people can have a representative from their church. But I read, and I just quickly Googled, but I understand that this is the first year that the White House is not recognizing this. Is that correct, Mr. Hope, Dr. Lisa?
I don't know. I know it's been recognized in the past, but I don't know if this is the first. This is my first hearing of that. So that's
Okay.
statistic.
Okay. So back to our topic. What is the letters DSM? You mentioned it near the beginning.
Oh, that is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. That's how psychiatrists define and quantify psychiatric illnesses. That's how they create the labels of what the illnesses are. They'll give
Diagnostic, statistical, and the M is
manual.
Manual. Okay, thank you. You just put that right out of your mouth like you were saying King James, KJV, King James Bible. And I'm going like, wait a minute, what does that mean? The other thing you said near the beginning was, I'm going to put this in the show notes. What is that?
Every call has notes. Every call has resources attached to the replay. So let's see if I can. Tell me if you see.
And you're talking about the YouTube videos
Yeah.
notes? Okay, sure.
So do you see the YouTube on the
Correct.
screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. So you see the search bar up here up at the top?
Yes.
So if you click, I mean, if you search, you have to type it in, but mine is right on top because I'm searching there all the time. You click on Kangen Water Radio, or you search Kangen Water Radio, and you scroll down, and here's our channel. And not only, I mean, you don't even have to go to the channel, you can go to individual videos. So it tells you the latest videos from Kangen Water Radio. So let's say you're interested in hydrogen and oxygen. It's just share. So you pull up the video. Oh, that was a horrible place to stop.
You look fine.
And here,
Oh,
I love that word.
oh,
That's
People
bad
saying
too.
plethora a
I get
lot
these
lately.
expressions. Oh well, I'll just stop it.
I have.
I'm not getting a good. I'm not going to be cute, but now I can't get it. This thing's in the way, and I don't know how to move it.
Stop sharing so we can see you. What would happen?
You said stop sharing.
Oh
so,
yeah, here you are. We see you. We see you.
But-
There you are.
Well,
You're
I
back.
didn't want to. I didn't want to see me. There's this thing from YouTube that's in the way of this YouTube TV ad. I
Oh,
can't.
you hit dismiss.
I can't see dismiss
Oh well,
because of the.
I see
that's
it.
fine.
I see it.
That's fine.
I see it, Dr. Lisa.
Yeah.
It
we
says
get the
live
point. So it's in the
food.
notes there, and people
What
can
you
go
should
into the
see
bottom.
is something that says "see more." Do you see?
Sure.
It starts talking about the call, and then you can see more.
Oh, okay.
If you
All right.
click on see more, which I can't do because of just the way the thing is. But if you click on see more, you will get
List of our topics, subject matter to look at. It's quite a little radio, quite a little
We have
file
come
system
quite
you got
a
back
ways
there.
over these 3 years.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
you will get
what-
this information if you click on see more. So
Okay.
all of the articles that I use for that, as well as our general call resources, you will have available
Sure.
at your fingertips.
Sure. Great job of resourcing.
Wow.
Footnoting.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Thank
So, Juanita, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, Dr. Lisa. Yesterday I was talking to a adult protective service gal, and she was mentioning that there's 4 types of Medicare right now. Is that correct? A, B, C, and D. And she said D was the newest, and it was regarding medications,
Mhm.
pharmaceutical medications. And I asked her, I said, I do not have a regular MD. I go holistic. And I mentioned a little apothecary store down on the avenue that has a doctor who draws your blood, analyzes it, and then helps me with the whatever issue that I need. It could be, and then they make up these essential oil and herbal potions.
What is your
For-
question, though? What's your question?
Would something like that, Medicare D, cover something from an apothecary?
Oh, I doubt it seriously.
Yeah, generally, no, they don't.
They
They just do pharmaceuticals.
they fought the chiropractors and the DOs fought tooth and nail to get any kind of alternative, quote unquote, and not to insult any DOs, but anyone other than MDs covered by Medicare. And there's some, it's spotty, it's not 100%, but they're gaining ground. DOs are doctors of osteopathy, and chiropractors are doctors of chiropractic medicine. So slowly they're getting some reimbursement for chiropractic services and things, but for alternative, and there are some Medicare maybe Advantage programs that might cover some over-the-counter things, but generally they're going to be in the pharmaceutical mode, not the natural mode.
Okay. And then near the beginning of your teaching, you said there was 5 things that cause stress. I wrote 1, or stress. Number 1, it affects everyone. Number 2, there are good and bad stresses, and watch for your warnings. Maybe change your location. Number 3, long-term stress. And I missed number 4, but I got 5. Ask for
Okay,
help.
this was from the National Institute of Mental Health, 5 things you should know about stress. Yeah, number 3, did you say long-term stress? Can I help
Correct.
you? Yeah. Number 4, that there are ways to manage stress, so all is not lost. And I gave you some of those ways in some of the other articles as well. And number 5, if you're overwhelmed, you may need help from a professional.
Good.
Okay, that's it.
That's actually, yeah.
Thank
Good.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, that
Thank
was a
you,
good
Juanita.
and thank you, Anita. Yeah, that was a good opportunity there to kind of do a summary review of what you had talked about earlier, Dr. Singletary. I want to make sure, just as we're getting ready to close out the call here, that anyone else has questions, they can ask both myself and Dr. Singletary. This is a great time. There's a little chat box down below. You can click on that and raise your hand or put a note in there, and we'll know that you are, wanting to communicate with us, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you have. We really are here to go over as well anything about the Kangen water machines, the Kangen water machines use, the benefits of the machines you might want to be more aware of. Any references you want to make and questions about different types of health ailments. We love taking your questions and answering those. And so if you do have any questions, please come on. This is a good time to ask some questions as well. Dr. Singletary?
My best friend from the womb, meaning her mother was pregnant with her at the same time that my mother was pregnant with me. We went to the same kindergarten or pre-K, same church, Sunday school, same, we were together for a long time, is now a double doctorate in psychology.
Wow.
And organizational as well as counseling psychology. And there's this commercial, and I talked to her yesterday, but there's this commercial that comes on TV, and every time I see this commercial, I think about her because it depicts people who are in real states of mental stress. They're talking about how they can't function, they can't remember things, they, just everything makes them anxious. And they go to a friend for help. And one of the friends said, you need to take up golf, or another friend said, or the father said, just smile, or, just be happy, or think about all the people in the world who are worse off than you, and
yeah.
The tagline is, that's unhelpful. Like,
really?
And I think about my friend every single time because her being a mental health professional,
Sure.
She would completely have this look on her face, like, be real, that is not helpful. So I say that because tying to number 5, there are times when you need a mental health professional, not necessarily drugs, right? But someone to help you put things into perspective, someone that really can help you dig to the bottom of the problem. And sometimes it's not just your boss or whatever, you might think it is. There might be something else going on. So I don't want to minimize the value of mental health professionals.
Well, Dr. Singletary, I like those points you brought up, and it brought something to mind. So now you've got joyful things that we can do. And if you're doing those things, to be redundant, they can certainly bring you more joy. But perhaps it's the bridge of getting from that state of depression to have the mind that would look down the tunnel and see the light of the beautiful things you can do to be more happy. Like, for example, a person spoke to me a couple of years ago. They were feeling depressed, and unfortunately they got on to antidepressant medications, which really don't take away your depression. I don't know why everybody.
Leave my neurotransmitters alone.
Yes, and the whole concept of, oh, we can handle that with a pill. It's not the way it works. It's not how any of this works. We should use that. Let me use that tagline for now on. Watch out, medical community, here I come. It's not how it works. It's not how any of this works. The body needs proper nutrition, not detoxification, proper hydration. Our lives have to be orderly. And then with all those things in order, one can enjoy the beauty of life itself. So taking a pill when all those things are out of order, exactly, it's not going to work. It's not how any of that works. So, and I remember thinking to myself, gee, this person's going through all this. Why don't they just, take themselves to the movies, even if they go by themselves. Hey, you live right near a beach. Person lived right near a beach, by the way. You live right near a beach. Just go over there, take a little launch here, sit back and watch the ocean for a few hours. There's any music you like? Go turn the music on, sit back and relax. You want to enjoy company with people who you like? Invite them to those types of things and do that. And then there you are. You know what I mean? There was a movie called Into the Night with Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Pfeiffer, and they were running from these bad guys, and they were having a really bad time. And she suggested that they go, not that I'm saying we should do this nutritionally, just saying, she suggested that they go to an ice cream shop and sit down and have some ice cream, because nobody feels bad when you're eating ice cream, Okay. And they went there and sat down, and Jeff Goldblum and the waitress brought them ice cream. They took a spoon, they ate some, and they smiled and said, yeah, you're right. Who can feel bad eating ice cream? So that's a great thing. But now it's the bridge to get there. Because the challenge is those people who are going through many things, oftentimes their minds circle around and loop upon bad and negative things. If you have a conversation with them, it's everything is wowsy, wozy, woo, not to discredit what they're going through emotionally.
Right.
But everything is about something bad, and they may not even recognize they never cycle themselves to something that's good ever. Yeah. So, and I guess in helping someone is helping to get to that point, but at some point they've got to perpetuate it on their own. It's got to be perpetuating. You can't always have someone to come and bring and say, okay, I'm going to bring you the joy. The joy's got to start with you, and you have to have the mind that allows you to get to that point. Yeah.
Yeah, but you brought up the issue of the effects of chronic illness before. If your body's using all of its energy and all of its resources trying to manage this chronic, let's say, I'm going to say diabetes, just because we talked about sugar, right? This chronic illness, and they may be under physician's care, taking insulin, whatever. But if you look at a diabetic diet, they all have carbs. It's so carb heavy, it's ridiculous. So you continue putting the sugar in your body that's affecting not just your pancreas, but all of your nerves, right? And your body is exhausted. And I actually did a couple of searches today on exhaustion. That's a whole nother thing. So if your body, if all the resources are devoted to trying to deal with this sugar issue, your neurotransmitters may not have what they need to have all of the usual connections. So your brain's going to do what it can do. Your body's amazing. It's going to make do, quote unquote, but you might miss the nice pathway, or you might not have the same buffer system. And I'm not talking about pH buffer, but the same ability to handle stuff that comes at you because your body's using it on this sugar thing. So even if you're under care, you can be caught in that loop or in a loop, in a vicious cycle.
Sure. And let's add to that loop chronic use of medications.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the toxic after effects of using those.
Yeah, because
and the constant load.
Your liver has to deal with every single thing that you swallow.
Sure. So you've got the toxicity of the food supply that you've been taking in. You've got now a medication that might mimic or a function of an organ or something like that, and it might cause atrophy, which is a whole other subject matter of your actual proper bodily functions. But you also have the toxic load that's coming from the use of the medications, which is now creating more stress in the body, which is creating more problems. I mean, antidepressants are known to strip away at the healthy cholesterol needed for the support of the brain, which is the very area you're trying to get support for.
Hello.
Which the long-term effects can be things like dementia and Alzheimer's disease.
Absolutely.
And one can say, oh, well, they got old, therefore they had these problems. Oh no, they got medicated, and therefore they had these problems. So we have to recognize, and people have to recognize
the statin drugs.
Damaging effect. Yeah, statin drugs, the damaging effect of taking prescription medications on a long-term basis, and what that does to the mind. And that can also be an area where persons who have been chronically ill for a very long time have issues of acting out, and it could be argumentative, it could be being snappy, it could be violent, it could be rude, and you say, well, gee, this person, we hear about the grumpy old man, the grumpy old woman, right? And they may very well have a very bad character, but then that could also be made worse in some cases with chronic prescription medication and the effect it has on the mind. Yeah. So great subject matter, good points we touched on, and looks like we're at the top of the hour. About time for us to close on out. But we're glad everyone came out today, and we encourage you all to join at any time, ask any question you have at any time. We love taking your questions. We love seeing our international community tune in from Nigeria to the United Kingdom to the United States. And I see everyone on board here. And we love having you on board. Dr. Singletary?
Well, let's see. I think you've summed it up, Mr. Hope.
Very
We're
good.
really happy to have you. But I
Very
do
good.
want to say this. I heard another definition or another acronym. I mean, HOPE can be an acronym for helping other people evolve.
Amen.
We said before, helping other people, help one person every day, but helping other people elevate or evolve. Or
Amen.
so
That's encouraging. I'm glad that God gave my family this name and that I get to enjoy it in my generation. May I pass it on to the next, and may we all use it
Amen.
well. Amen.
So we
So,
will be here Saturday.
yes, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. UK, 6 p.m. Nigeria, 9 p.m. Dubai, 10:30 p.m. India, 10 a.m. Pacific California time. And we look forward to seeing you all again at here on the Kangen Water Health and Information Call with me, Terrence Open, our illustrious Dr. Lisa Singletary, MD.
We love you all.
Love you all.
Mwah.
Mwah.